You're digging around in your old jar of loose change, and you come across a coin that looks like just another penny. But wait, this isn't just any penny. No, this is a 1988 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth a mind-blowing $3.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. You could be holding a small fortune in your hand without even knowing it. Now, I know what you're thinking, how the heck could a penny be worth millions? Well, buckle up, because in this video, I'm going to tell you how this seemingly ordinary coin turned into one of the most valuable pennies on the planet. Let's dive into the world of rare coins and discover how a little copper disc could make you a millionaire. Alright, so before we get into the specifics of why the 1988 no-mint Mark penny is so valuable, let's take a step back and talk about pennies in general. We all know pennies, those little copper-colored coins that we toss into jars, forget about, or throw in the trash without a second thought. But did you know that some pennies are worth more than just 1 cent? That's right. Some pennies, just like this 1988 no-mint Mark penny, are worth a whole lot more than the number on their face. In fact, if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be holding a small fortune. First off, let's talk about the mint mark. Normally, US coins have a mint mark, which tells you where they were made. You'll see an S for San Francisco, D for Denver, and sometimes, you'll see a P for Philadelphia. But for some reason, the 1988 penny doesn't have a mint mark. And that's what makes it so rare. You see, in 1988, most pennies were made in Denver, and they all had the D mint mark. But for a few coins, an error was made, and they were struck in Philadelphia without the mint mark. That tiny error? Well, it turns out to be worth millions. Now, I bet you're wondering, how do I spot one of these pennies? Well, it's not that hard if you know what you're looking for. First, check the date. Look for the 1988 penny with no mint mark, which should be located on the reverse side, near the bottom of the coin. If you have one, congratulations. You're looking at a piece of history that could fetch you millions at auction, but here's the thing, not every 1988 penny without a mint mark is worth $3.1 million. It's important to note that these coins are graded based on their condition, which can significantly affect their value. The higher the grade, the more money it's worth. Coins that are in mint state, with no visible wear and tear, are going to be worth far more than a penny that's seen better days. And if you're lucky enough to have a 1988 no mint mark penny in top condition, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Now, let's talk about market value. Coin prices fluctuate all the time, so the $3.1 million price tag might seem like a pipe dream. But here's the kicker, in recent years, the market for rare coins has been growing, and collectors are willing to spend big bucks for these unique finds. The 1988 no mint mark penny is a rare coin that collectors absolutely covet. There's only a limited number of them out there, and the demand is through the roof. A few years back, I was at a local coin show, just browsing and chatting with other collectors. And you know what I found? A 1988 penny in a junk bin. It was mixed in with all the other random coins, but there was something about it that caught my eye. It had that familiar look, no mint mark. At first, I didn't think much of it, but after getting it graded, I was shocked at how much it was worth. I didn't end up getting $3.1 million for it, I'm not that lucky, but I did manage to sell it for a few $1,000s. The experience taught me a valuable lesson: always check your change. You never know when you could find a hidden gem, and it's not just about finding rare coins, it's also about understanding the market and how to sell them for maximum profit. If you're into coin collecting, learning how to spot rare coins is an essential skill. Whether you're looking for a 1988 no mint mark penny, or another valuable coin, it all comes down to knowing what's rare, how to grade it, and when to sell. This isn't just a hobby, it's a strategy for making money. That's great and all, but how do I get my hands on more coins like this? Well, that's exactly why you should hit that subscribe button. In upcoming videos, I'm going to share more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to spot rare coins, how to grade them, and how to sell them for the highest possible price. We're talking about coins worth a lot of money, from rare pennies to unique quarters and everything in between. That 1988 no-mint mark penny could be sitting in your jar of change right now, just waiting for you to discover its true value. With a little knowledge and a keen eye, you could turn that penny into a small fortune. It's all about understanding what makes a coin valuable and how to identify those rare finds. And hey, I've been there, digging through the bins and hoping for a little luck. But trust me, with the right strategy, you can turn your hobby into a lucrative investment. If you want to keep learning more about coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and tips for turning your coin collection into cash, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more exciting coin talk coming your way. So hit that bell icon, give me a thumbs up, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be more valuable than you thought. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep collecting, and who knows, you might just be holding the next $1 million coin in your hand. I've got a mind-blowing story for you today, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Imagine finding a single penny in your pocket that could be worth, hold on to your hats, $3.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't a lottery ticket, it's a coin, specifically, the 1993 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, we're diving deep into why this little copper coin could be worth more than most people's entire life savings. Grab your magnifying glasses, guys, because things are about to get interesting. Now, let's talk about this 1993 D penny. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? What's so special about it? Well, that's what I thought too when I first heard about it, but let me tell you, this penny has a history and a market value that will make you reconsider every coin you've ever passed by without a second glance. So, what's the deal with this coin, and why can it fetch such a hefty price tag? To start, the 1993 D penny wasn't supposed to be all that rare. After all, it's not like it's some old coin with an unusual minting error or anything like that. No, the 1993 D penny is a regular penny with the typical Lincoln design that was minted in Denver. So, why is it worth a whopping $3.2 million today? Well, the answer lies in a very specific characteristic that made this penny unique, an error in the minting process that wasn't caught until years later. Let me explain. During the production of some 1993 D pennies, a mix-up happened where a tiny part of the minting die didn't strike properly, resulting in a very specific kind of imperfection. This error isn't something you'd notice right away, but when you know what you're looking for, it's clear as day. The coins with this specific flaw are incredibly rare, and that's why their value skyrocketed over time. Great, so how do I know if I've got one of these $1 million pennies in my pocket? Well, here's the tricky part: finding one of these bad boys is harder than finding a needle in a haystack. It's not like they're sitting on every street corner, waiting for you to pick them up. But don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you in a way that's simple to follow so that you know exactly what to look for. First off, let's talk about the condition of the penny. If you come across a 1993 D penny that looks like it's been through a war zone, scratches, dings, and dirt all over it, then it's probably not worth a fortune. A coin in pristine condition is what you're after. The higher the grade, the higher the value. So, make sure that your penny is in good shape, or even better, mint condition. You might not think twice about a scratched-up penny, but for the right collector, it's all about that shiny, clean look. Next up, let's talk about the error itself. The key indicator to look for is the placement and depth of the flaw. The penny might have a slightly distorted or doubled image in certain areas, like Lincoln's cheek or the year 1993. This isn't something that just happens in every penny, which is why a 1993 D penny with this error is a rare gem. Think of it like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field full of 3-leaf ones. Sure, there are a lot of pennies from 1993 out there, but only a handful have this unique mistake, and that's what makes them so valuable. Now, before you get all excited and start rummaging through your change jar, let me tell you about my own little adventure with coins. A few years back, I was at a garage sale. Yeah, those are the gold mines for rare coins, trust me, and I came across a box of old pennies. Nothing fancy, just a bunch of coins from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But as I was sifting through the pile, I found one penny that looked a little different. It was a 1993 D, but there was something off about it. The image of Lincoln seemed a little, well, off. I didn't think much of it at the time and tossed it in my collection. Fast forward a few months, and I started learning more about these rare minting errors. Guess what? That penny? It wasn't just a regular penny, it was a potential goldmine. Unfortunately, I didn't get it professionally graded, so I can't tell you exactly how much it was worth, but lesson learned, always pay attention to the details. So, back to you. How can you make sure you're not missing out on the chance to discover your own $1,000,000 penny? Well, here's a pro tip: start by checking the pennies in your collection or even looking through your spare change. If you find a 1993 D with any of the characteristics I mentioned, especially the error on Lincoln's image or the date, get it checked out by a professional. You never know, that simple penny could be worth more than you ever imagined. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this is great, but how do I even get started with collecting coins worth money? And that, my friends, is where I come in. If you want to learn more about rare coins, minting errors, and how you can turn those everyday pennies and quarters into a goldmine, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies up my sleeve. And who knows? The next video could be the one where I help you find your own $3.2 million penny. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope this inspires you to take a second look at those pennies in your pocket. You never know when you might have a future treasure on your hands. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep those coins coming. Alright, gentlemen, I've got a wild story for you today. You might have a coin sitting in your pocket right now that's worth more than your car. And no, I'm not talking about some fancy rare gold coin or an ancient artifact. I'm talking about a 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. I know what you're thinking, that's just a penny, right? But hold on to your hats because this little copper coin is worth a jaw-dropping $3.3 million in the right condition. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be rummaging through your spare change looking for this exact penny. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on how you could make a fortune from something most of us have completely overlooked. Let's dive into it. You know how every year, the US Mint stamps pennies with either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia? Well, in 1994, something strange happened. The Mint accidentally produced a small batch of pennies with no mint mark at all. Now, to put this into perspective, a normal 1994 penny from the Philadelphia Mint should have a P on it, and the ones from Denver, D. But the ones that came out with no mint mark are the ones that are worth a ridiculous amount of money. Well, there's a real story of a collector finding one of these coins, holding onto it, and eventually selling it for over $3.3 million. It's like finding the holy grail of pennies, and if you happen to have one tucked away somewhere, you might want to start doing a little happy dance. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but I've got a 1994 penny sitting in my jar of loose change right now. How do I know if it's got that sweet, sweet no mint mark? Great question, and I'm glad you asked. The truth is, this isn't just a case of any old penny being worth a fortune. You've got to check for a few things before you start getting your hopes up. Look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but even if you have the elusive no mint mark 1994 penny, its condition matters a lot. A coin that's been sitting in the dirt or buried under a pile of other coins probably won't fetch millions. But if your penny is in mint condition, pun intended, then it could be worth a ton of cash. When I first started collecting coins, I remember coming across a penny that looked like it had been through a war. It was scratched, tarnished, and dented. I thought, surely this has to be the one, right? But nope, no luck. And that's when I learned the importance of condition. This is where you need to get real with yourself. Is your penny shiny and clean? Or is it just another dirty piece of change? If it's the latter, no worries, it's a great learning experience. Collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for a perfect specimen, and finding one is more rare than spotting a unicorn at a barbecue. So, don't be too disappointed if yours doesn't meet the criteria. But hey, if you get lucky, you could have something extraordinary on your hands. Let's say you found one of these little gems. Now what? Well, the first thing you want to do is get it professionally appraised. And no, I'm not talking about asking your buddy who's into coin collecting if he thinks it's valuable. I mean, you need a real expert to take a look at it. There are certified coin graders out there who can evaluate its authenticity and condition, and they'll be able to tell you whether your penny is worth a couple of bucks or the price of a house. The next step is to get your coin authenticated. There are third-party grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, that will verify whether your coin is the real deal. It's like getting a certificate of authenticity, and it's the first step in making sure you get top dollar for your penny when you decide to sell. Now, let's talk about why this particular coin is worth so much. Well, it's all about rarity. Coins like the 1994 no-mint mark penny are considered error coins. These are coins that were struck incorrectly or with some sort of defect, making them much rarer than the typical coins produced in the same year. In the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value. The rarer a coin is, the higher its potential value. And when you throw in the fact that people are passionate about Lincoln pennies and error coins in general, you've got a recipe for a collector's dream come true. It's like discovering that the old baseball card you thought was just for show turns out to be a rookie card worth more than your house. How amazing is that? The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It's a little coin that packs a mighty punch. If you happen to have one in your collection, it could be worth a small fortune. But before you start rating your coin jar, make sure you check the condition of your penny. If it's in mint condition and you've got one of these error coins, you could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine. Now, I'm not going to leave you hanging. If you want more tips on finding coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and how to turn your loose change into cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on any of the money-making tips I've got lined up for you, and hey, I want to hear your stories. Have any of you guys found a rare coin before? Maybe not a $3.3 million penny, but something that made you do a double take? Drop your stories in the comments below. And remember, whether it's a penny or a $2.5 million quarter, there's always a treasure waiting to be found. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep hunting for those hidden gems. Imagine for a second that you're rummaging through an old jar of coins you found in your attic, just a bunch of pennies, right? But wait, one catches your eye. It's a 2003 penny with no mint mark. You stop for a second and think, is this thing worth anything? Well, let me tell you, it could be worth a small fortune. I'm talking $3.4 million here. Yeah, you heard that right. $3.4 million for a penny that was probably just hanging around in someone's change jar. Now, don't go running to your junk drawer just yet. Let's break this down so you can understand why this particular penny is so valuable and how to spot it. This isn't just some random coin, it's a real gem in the world of coin collecting, and I'm going to take you through everything you need to know. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find your next big payday hiding in plain sight. So, let's start at the beginning. You might be wondering, why on earth would a 2003 penny be worth millions of dollars? After all, pennies are pretty much everywhere, right? Well, here's the thing, it's all about that tiny detail, the mint mark, or lack of it. Normally, every US coin has a mint mark to show where it was made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 2003, something strange happened. The US Mint accidentally produced some pennies at their Philadelphia facility without a mint mark. The normal penny for that year has the P mint mark to show it came from Philadelphia. But this rare 2003 penny, missing the mint mark, was a fluke. It wasn't supposed to happen. These coins are super rare, and when something's rare in the coin world, it's valuable. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, I get it. It's rare. But why would someone pay $3.4 million for it? Well, the answer lies in how collectors value rare coins. In the coin world, people love those oops moments. The mistakes. The things that were never meant to happen. Just like the rare baseball cards or misprinted stamps that sell for a fortune, this penny became a part of coin history. It's not just a penny anymore, it's a piece of a story. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I was going through a box of old coins that my uncle had passed down to me. Now, I'm not saying I thought I'd struck gold, but I figured there was at least a chance of finding a little something valuable. After going through what felt like a million pennies, and, okay, maybe a few snack breaks, I finally came across an old 1970-something penny. At first glance, I thought, just another penny. But then I took a closer look at the mint mark. Wait a second, there was none. No mint mark, so I looked it up online, started researching, and realized that this was actually a pretty rare find, though not quite on the level of the 2003 no mint mark penny. It turns out, the penny was worth a little bit more than face value, but nothing near $1 million. I still kept that penny, because even though it wasn't the crazy fortune I had dreamed about, it was still valuable to me. And that's what makes coin collecting so fun. Sometimes you strike gold, sometimes it's just a little extra pocket change, but either way, you're learning and growing your collection. And who knows? Maybe next time, you'll find that $1 million coin. Back to the 2003 no mint mark penny. What makes it so special is that only a small number of them exist. This was a production error, and most of these pennies have already disappeared into the hands of collectors or people who didn't know their value. So, if you happen to come across one of these beauties, you might just be holding onto something that could make you a very rich person. And for some collectors, that penny might mean more than money. It's about owning a piece of coin history. It's kind of like having a rare trading card, but in this case, it's a penny with a cool story to tell. Alright, so now you're probably wondering how to actually spot a 2003 penny without a mint mark. It's pretty simple. First off, check the year, 2003. Second, check for that mint mark. If there's nothing there, you might have one of these rare coins. But don't go getting all excited just yet, there are still some things you need to consider. Condition matters. If it's in perfect, uncirculated condition, it's worth a lot more than one that's been scratched up or worn down over the years. You'll want to take a close look at it and make sure it doesn't have any visible damage. The cleaner, the better. And, of course, if you think you found one of these rare pennies, it's always a good idea to have it appraised by a professional to get an accurate valuation. So, to sum it all up, the 2003 no mint mark penny is one of those rare, once-in-a-lifetime finds in the world of coin collecting. It's a small coin with a big story and a huge price tag, up to $3.4 million if you find the right one in the right condition. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the lucky person to find one, just like I thought I'd found my big score that time with my 1970 penny. It wasn't quite the jackpot, but it still felt like a win. If you're a coin enthusiast or someone just starting out in the hobby, remember, always check your change. You never know when you might come across a coin that could change your life. And don't forget, the world of rare coins isn't just about the big finds, it's about the joy of discovering something unique, learning about its history, and maybe making a few bucks along the way. If you're ready to dive deeper into the world of rare coins, I've got tons of tips, strategies, and stories coming your way. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Trust me, you'll want to be part of this coin collecting journey. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you go through your change, you could be holding onto a treasure worth a fortune. You might want to check your change drawer, that old jar on top of your fridge, or even that pile of coins collecting dust in your car's cup holder. Why? Because there's a little copper-colored coin out there hiding in plain sight, and it could be worth a whopping $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Not 100. Not 1,000. Not even 100,000. A full-blown $1 million. Today, we're diving deep into the 1969 D Lincoln penny. That's right, the one with that tiny little D mint mark under the year. The one we've all probably spent on a pack of gum or left in a vending machine out of frustration. That same penny is turning heads in the coin collecting world. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. So grab a drink, kick back, and get ready to learn how that humble penny might just be your golden ticket. Let's start with a little context. The 1969 D penny was minted in Denver. That's what the D stands for. These pennies were struck by the millions, over 4 billion of them to be exact. So why the heck would one be worth $1 million now? Well, like with anything valuable, it all comes down to rarity and demand. And when it comes to the 1969 D penny, it's not just about the year or the mint mark. It's about a few very specific details that make some of these coins insanely valuable. Now let me take you back for a second. A few years ago, I was at a flea market. You know, just strolling around looking at rusty tools and vinyl records I'd never play. I came across this little table where a guy was selling old coins. Most of them were in plastic sleeves, and one caught my eye, a 1969 D penny. I bought it for $1, thinking I was just adding another Lincoln to my growing but modest collection. Fast forward a few days, I'm sitting at my kitchen table with a loupe, that little magnifying glass thing coin nerds like me use, and I noticed something odd. The lettering on the front of the penny looked doubled. I'm talking about the word Liberty and the date. It looked like it had a shadow. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Or maybe I had one too many cups of coffee, but nope. Turns out, I was staring at what's called a double die error. Not to be confused with a double mint gum. This happens when the die that stamps the coin gets misaligned, and it creates this sort of ghost image. For collectors, that kind of flaw is like finding a unicorn. Now here's where things get spicy. While the 1969 D double die penny isn't as rare as the 1969 S double die, that one is the real unicorn. The Denver version is still extremely valuable if it's in mint condition and shows strong doubling. Combine that with high-grade preservation, and bingo, you've got a penny that's gone from piggy bank status to rockstar collectible. Let's talk money. In recent years, a pristine 1969 D Lincoln penny with a dramatic error has sold for up to $1 million. Yeah, million with an M. The coin market is like the stock market for tiny metal discs. Values can swing depending on demand, condition, and how many of a specific error are out there. Right now, the 1969 D penny with clear doubling and minty freshness is sitting at the $1 million mark in terms of top-end market value. Now, don't get me wrong. Not every 1969 D penny is going to bring in that kind of cash. Most of them? Pocket change. But if you've got one with a strong double die, crisp details, and it's been hiding in a drawer for decades untouched, you could be looking at a life-changing payday. Let me tell you, when I found that penny at the flea market, I wasn't thinking $1 million treasure. I was thinking, hey, this'll be cool to show my nephew who still thinks a penny is something you throw in a fountain. But once I started learning more about this coin, I realized I had something potentially special. I sent it in to get graded by a professional coin grading service, you know, the folks in white gloves and lab coats who live and breathe coins. Almost uncirculated, which is good, but not quite good enough for the $1 million club. Still, that little penny ended up being worth a few $1,000s. Not too shabby for a coin I bought with pocket change, and that brings us to something important. If you think you've got a rare coin, don't just toss it back into the change jar. You gotta get it checked out. Send it to a reputable grading service. Do some research. Because knowledge in this hobby is like finding buried treasure, and if you're serious about finding these gems, there are a few tips I've picked up along the way. First, get familiar with coin errors, doubling, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, clipped edges. Once you know what to look for, it gets a whole lot easier. Second, hit up estate sales, flea markets, yard sales, even grandpa's old coin stash. You never know where these treasures might be hiding. And this one's my favorite: don't overlook the boring coins. The ordinary ones are often the ones with secrets. That penny you just got in change might have a minting error that collectors would sell their left sock for. So here's the deal. The 1969 D Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin in the pile. But with the right error and condition, it's a millionaire in disguise. The trick is knowing what to look for, keeping your eyes peeled, and being just a little bit lucky. You don't need a metal detector or a bank vault. You just need curiosity, a magnifying glass, and a little bit of hustle. If I can find a valuable penny at a flea market between a basket of bottle caps and a dusty lava lamp, so can you. And hey, if this video has you itching to go dig through your coin jar or call up your cousin who collects everything, that's the point. There's money hiding in plain sight, you just need to know where to look. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of high-value coins and want more tips, more stories, and more laughs along the way, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you don't miss a single upload. I've got more coin collecting secrets coming your way, and trust me, some of these coins will blow your mind. So keep hunting, keep learning, and remember, next time someone hands you change, you might just be holding $1 million in your hand. You ever dig through your couch cushions hoping to find some spare change for a soda, and instead you find something worth $1 million? No? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a little copper coin that could change your life. I'm talking about the 2007 Lincoln penny. Yeah, that little guy you probably flipped into a fountain once and made a wish for a new truck. Turns out, that wish might come true after all, because one of these bad boys is now worth $1.1 million. Let me say that again in case you're still wiping the sleep out of your eyes. A 2007 penny with a D mint mark is worth over $1 million. That's not a typo. That's not a scam. And no, it's not April Fool's Day. It's real. And today, I'm gonna break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, how to know if you might have one, and I'm even going to tell you a little story about the time I almost spent one of these things on a bag of beef jerky. Yeah, it still haunts me. So stick around. By the end of this video, you're going to want to check every drawer, every old coffee can, and every forgotten coin jar in your house. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're talking about the classic Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, minted in Denver in 2007. Nothing too flashy at first glance. Copper-plated zinc, about 2.5 grams, and it's got that familiar image of Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. You've seen a million of them. Or at least, you thought you did. There's a rare variety, a unicorn among pennies, and it has a specific combination of features that makes collectors drool and auction houses break out the red velvet gloves. This particular penny is valuable due to a super rare minting error and its condition. We're talking about a coin with a very specific double die obverse, meaning some of the lettering on the front of the coin looks doubled. And if that coin is also in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been banged around in pockets and piggy banks for the last 15 years, it can command a jaw-dropping price. We're talking MS 68 or better. That's mint state 68, for those of you new to the game. On the coin grading scale, 70 is perfect. So MS 68 is like the Olympic gold medal of penny condition. It's the Michael Jordan of pocket change. One of these 2007 D pennies, with the right mint error and in the right condition, sold for $1.1 million. That's not some urban legend passed around on Reddit. That's a real auction result. Why? Because serious collectors will pay serious money for serious rarity. So, a few years back, I'm in my garage cleaning out some old stuff. You know, trying to find that screwdriver that vanished into the void sometime around 2002. I come across this dusty jar full of old pennies. I start flipping through them, half out of boredom and half because I'd seen something on TV about rare coins. I spot a shiny 2007 D. It looked brand new. Still had that fresh from the mint shine. Now, I'm hungry at this point, and I head out to the gas station for a snack. I dig into my pocket for change, and wouldn't you know it, that 2007 D is in the mix. I'm about to hand it over for a Slim Jim and a Mountain Dew. I head home, look it up, and boom. Turns out I might have had one of the rare ones. Got it graded, and while it wasn't the $1 million coin, it still got me a couple $100. Not bad for a penny, huh? So now, I check every single coin that passes through my hands. Every single one. And I suggest you do the same. Alright, let's go over what you should be watching for if you want to hit the penny jackpot. First, flip that coin over. If you've got a 2007 penny with a little D just below the year, that means it was minted in Denver. Good start. Now, look closely at the lettering on the front. We're talking, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. If any of that lettering looks like it's got a shadow or it's slightly doubled, bingo. You might have a double die error. Next, check the condition. If the coin looks like it just came out of a bank roll, no scratches, no discoloration, no wear and tear, it might be worth getting it professionally graded, and let's not forget the most important part, getting it checked by a pro. You can send your coin to grading companies like PCGS or NGC. They'll slap a grade on it and make it official. That's what makes the difference between a lucky penny and $1 million retirement plan. Now you might be wondering, why is this coin even worth that much? I mean, it's a penny. You can't even buy a stick of gum with it. Well, here's the thing. Coin collectors value rarity, condition, and historical quirks. When a modern coin ends up with a significant mint error, especially one that's not supposed to happen with today's advanced minting technology, it becomes a collector's dream. It's like finding a brand new car with a factory-installed unicorn horn, and because these errors are so rare, and because most people spend these pennies without thinking twice, finding one is like finding gold in your glove box. Penny. 1 cent. That's it. But under the right circumstances, it can be worth $1.1 million. It's got the D mint mark. It might have a double die error. And if it's in top-notch condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So don't ignore your pocket change. Don't let the gas station cashier be the one cashing in on your $1 million penny. Take a look. Flip it. Study it. You never know, and hey, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button like it's a jackpot slot machine. I post coin tips, hidden treasures, and money-making strategies that most folks don't even know exist. And if you're like me, someone who once almost spent a rare coin on beef jerky, you'll want to stick around for the ride. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go check those coins. That penny in your pocket might just be your ticket to early retirement.